Hey everybody, this is Walt.
This is Max.
And you're listening to our podcast, The ABCs of Rock and Metal.
We call it Anti-Seminal, and we are, as always, Useless Info Inc. And today we are joined by a special guest. Dave, how are you doing, Dave?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Awesome.
I'm honored to be here.
Very, very cool. This is going to be fun. So today we are doing Def Leppard, High and Dry, 1981, the second studio album by the band. Walt, you want to introduce us to this fine album?
Of course. Well, it's produced by Mutt Lange.
The legend.
Like you said, the second album, who also produced AC/DC. Later on, Shania Twain.
Really?
Yeah.
He was all over the place, right?
No, he married her, that's why.
Oh, okay.
That's why she got him to produce.
Okay.
But this record really stands out to me, and I think it's anti-seminal, because right afterwards, Pyromania was a big hit.
Yeah.
Then after that, you had Hysteria.
Yeah.
Hysteria was huge.
Yeah.
Even people that weren't into rock and metal owned Hysteria. Mm-hmm. But High and Dry didn't get as much love. But you can really feel Def Leppard coming into their own on this album.
Right.
And it's only their second record.
Yeah.
So they seemed even bigger than they were on Through the Night.
Yeah.
And I think the production didn't hurt anything, to be honest, with Mutt Lange. The songs are tighter, they're meaner, they're heavier than even later releases, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then I think this is heavier than Pyromania.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will go Pyromania first before High and Dry, which I don't understand.
You mean in terms of their top Def Leppard album?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Seminol's got to be Pyromania and Hysteria.
Easily.
Hysteria over.
Easily, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone knows Hysteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was this huge bubblegum album.
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
hits, something like that.
No, it had Pour Some Sugar
Yeah.
on Me Alone,
That's,
Yeah.
which was a throwaway
Speaking of
track.
Bubblegum,
Right.
Yeah.
It was a throwaway track. They didn't want to put that on the record.
I
is
don't
crazy.
blame them. I won't start just yet. Okay.
But so this was released in, what'd you say, 1985? Right?
81.
81.
Is what I
81.
got. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like right on the cusp of things getting kind of glamour in metal in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these guys were also part of the new wave of British heavy metal.
Right,
Although
yeah.
they stuck out as more of a pop rock kind of, maybe, act?
Yeah.
Especially later.
Later stuff, exactly.
I mean, you had Motorhead and Saxon and Tigers of Pantang, and here comes Def Leppard, lumped into that category for whatever reason. I think Saxon tried to go the same route at one point or another with when it came to trying to craft radio-friendly hits. Wheels of Steel, maybe.
Okay.
But Leppard had it right in the bag, and Mutt Lange saw something in them. I think also because they were young and hungry, that he saw he could mold them, and really make them into a band that he wanted to produce.
Okay, yeah.
So, and I think that's really evident on this record.
Because they're receptive to being molded and to being shaped by him, right?
They
Yeah,
wanted to be rock stars,
Yeah.
and they were young.
Now, when did Foreigner 4 come out? Because Mutt Lange did that one as well, right? Mm-hmm. And
That's right.
Fresh from memory, what year was that, roughly?
I think that was
Was
the
that
same thing, around 81, 82?
Yeah, okay.
Between 80 and 82.
Okay, all right.
But I didn't do any research on Foreigner, because why?
Because, yeah, exactly.
No, don't get me wrong, I like the early stuff.
Yeah.
But, that was a big hit record for them, too, because Mutt Lange had the magic touch around that time.
And so what is the first AC/DC album that he did? Do you know?
I believe it was Highway to Hell.
It was Highway to Hell. Okay.
I think he only did 2. It was Highway to Hell.
77?
He might have done 3, yeah.
77, right?
I think Highway to Hell was 79 or 80.
79, okay.
I think it might have been 80.
Okay.
Because Back in Black came out in 80.
I think 79.
You think 79?
79.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Because Back in Black was around 81 or 2 then, right?
I think
Yeah.
Back in Black was like 80.
80.
Was
That
it
was-
80?
I think it was 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
So
80.
really, I thought they took a longer break between Highway to Hell and Back in Black.
You would think so,
Right?
given,
It feels that way,
Bon
you know?
Scott. Yeah.
Right.
Back in Black was 80.
Okay.
Okay.
So he did that one. I think he also produced For Those About to Rock.
Dave, you got any comments on the album in general?
The album, yeah, excellent album. I mean, like Walt said, very tight.
Yeah.
I think a more raw sound than Pyromania and certainly Hysteria. Mm-hmm. And I actually wonder if that has anything to do with the transition from Pete Wilson to Phil Collin. High and Dry was Pete Wilson's last full album.
Right.
And
Okay.
he was fired like halfway through Pyromania.
Uh-huh.
And Phil Collins stepped in, and it's got a little more polish to it.
Huh, okay.
And Hysteria has a blinding glare to it, and that was Phil Collins' first full album with them.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Pete Willis. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they fired him for alcohol and drug abuse, which is
Alcohol.
funny.
Why would that happen in
Right.
a rock and roll band?
It's funny. You hear these stories about how the whole band is getting high and drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
And they fire the guy that gets the most high and drunk. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Well, then you have poor Steve Clark, who died of alcohol poisoning.
Right.
I
That was
think
later.
That was after
190.
Hysteria.
Early 90s.
After Hysteria, I can't name any of the other records. 'Cause
Yeah,
They're
I
all
honestly
terrible.
cannot. Yeah.
I like Hysteria as kitschy nostalgia, and I find some of it funny. But after that, it was just bad and not funny.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember I got that CD and I gave it to my brother. I said, if you want it, you could have it.
Yeah.
Because I did not want it after Pyromania and High and Dry. I said, I don't want this, man. You could have it. Yeah, so I really think it's a strong record. Mm-hmm. Sadly underrated. It didn't sell. is another
Yeah,
point.
right. Yeah.
It didn't sell until after Hysteria came out, and then Pyromania and High and Dry wound up charting.
Right, and then
And then going platinum.
they re-released "Bring On The Heartache" as a single,
Yeah.
right? And
Remix.
that's when that got big. Yeah,
Yeah.
the remix, one with the synthesizers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that as well when we get into this. Yeah. Okay. Any other preliminary remarks? We ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay. First song. This is "Let It Go."
Hello.
Yeah. Let It Go. Got that driving riff immediately, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dave. Give me some of your comments on this song.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect opener for the album because it kind of sets the tone for the rest of it.
Right.
Just hard-hitting, fast,
Yeah.
young ego band.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, let it go. Just hang out with us, Or, once again, a sexual reference.
I thought it was
Yeah.
about oral sex.
Oh, it really is. It really
Okay,
is.
all right.
yeah.
I'm not mistaken in that regard.
But then it brings it down.
Yeah.
Nice breakdown here, and then you get into Elliot's voice. The lyrics, though, on this are very, very silly
just
and
like-
nonsensical.
yeah,
As much
yeah.
as I love this record, they're like a 14-year-old kid wrote them.
They were not the best band lyrically, were
No,
they? Right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
it's the same
not a lot of
idea
depth
as
going on.
AC/DC with Bruising Women, but not quite at that level.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, AC/DC, I feel like they had more of a style in their lyrics. Wittier. Then.
Especially the Bond era.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was always tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah,
And 9 times out of 10, he was the guy on the losing end
yeah,
of a situation.
yeah.
But no, with Def Leppard, they're winning, So,
All right. Anything else on this one?
no, just that it's a great, like Dave said, it's a great opener.
It's a great opener. Yeah.
Pulls you right in.
It's the mission statement for the album.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next up, Another Hit and Run is our next song. Here we go.
What do you think that means? Dave,
Yeah.
any thoughts?
Sexual,
Right?
more than likely.
Like a lot of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
But who's doing the hitting and who's doing the running? I mean, is it him or is he being hit and run? Who's the victim here? Because lyrically, when I read it, I'm not getting if he's the one that's doing the hit and run, the fly by night or the one night stand, or if he's the on the receiving end of a one night stand with a girl's like,
There are
I'm outta
subtle
here.
ambiguities in the lyrics.
But
of
I
the
want to
song.
know. What happened, Joe?
It's up to interpretation.
Come on, Joe, tell us.
It does the same thing as the opening song. Like starts out big and then this kind of like quiet thing, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. That's a very Mutt Lange thing,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 It's
Well,
effective.
It's
It
also
works. It works.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's also a thing that a lot of bands did at the time. I mean, a lot of bands were doing this
Give me
around
some other
the time.
examples.
AC/DC was doing it.
Sure, yeah.
Thin Lizzy was doing it.
Yeah.
Saxon was doing it. A lot of bands were doing that kind of, start, stop, low crescendo into hit you over the head. A lot of bands were doing it. Everybody's doing it. Why don't we? It's also an easy studio production thing to do.
Yeah.
And it gets everybody into it. Whether you're into the band or not, if you heard the song on the radio, you might like it, even if you're not a fan of the band.
Yeah, sure.
Or metal.
Yeah.
It's pop crafted.
Yeah.
He pop crafted metal music. He even went on record to say he wanted to make records that would compete with Michael Jackson with Def Leppard.
That's funny. Okay.
He wanted a heavy metal thriller.
Yeah.
And I think he
okay.
got it with Hysteria.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
though we're talking about this
Yeah.
record, we're going to keep going back to, But I believe
Yeah.
that this record's a lot better than Hysteria when
Yeah.
it comes to rock and
I
metal.
mean, yeah, despite being a metal fan, I'll take Thriller over Hysteria any day. That's just me, though.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Dave, give me some comments on this song. What do you think?
It's solid. I mean,
Yeah.
they keep it up the same pace.
Right.
Yeah. It moves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first 2 tracks are really the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they knew where to place them. Mutt Lange knew where to place those on the record. Bang, bang with the first 2 tracks. And then he's going to, which we'll get into in a second. It's, once again, placement of songs on a record goes a long way.
It's crucial.
On a record goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah. They don't need to do that anymore, but it was
Right.
there was an art to that.
Because
Right,
who's
it
making
doesn't matter
records?
anymore, right?
No.
Who's making records
Yeah,
anymore? It's
exactly.
all
It's all
singles.
digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all singles.
And
So-
and back then we had to flip records over.
Right. Yeah.
It
We're
was all-
always going to mention that on
Yeah.
this.
Records they're like a 2-act structure, right?
Absolutely.
It's like you open one side and close that side and do the same thing with the second side.
Yep.
and now you kind of lose it. Whatever. We're
I know.
old. Yeah, we remember LPs.
But yeah,
Now, when did Mutt Lange really get a start?
that's a good question.
I don't know. I read up on his biography. I don't actually recall.
All I know from Mutt Lange is that he produced Def Leppard, AC/DC, Foreigner, like you mentioned, and then later Shania Twain. I don't know anything else.
We'll have to dig into that because he's obviously a big player on this record.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we can talk about the musicians, but Mutt Lange is a huge presence on here.
I should have looked up who he produced before AC/DC and Def Leppard, but I didn't think so.
We might have to do a special Mutt Lange podcast at some point.
Right.
The producers of Anti-Seminal.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if he's doing anything nowadays. We know
Yeah.
Def Leppard's on tour with, who are they on tour with? Like Journey or something. Which is weird.
Oh, it is Journey, right?
It's Journey or
Yeah.
something like that.
But doesn't that kind of make sense?
Well, with
I mean,
the later
it's
stuff.
like they've kind of met in the middle somehow.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know either. See, this is the sticky point with Def Leppard. You like the early stuff, but you can't like the later stuff because you just, I don't know, can't.
Honestly,
For me.
So for me, like the Pyromania and Hysteria period, that to me was metal for people who don't actually like metal.
Right.
Okay, I mean
right,
that's not,
right.
because I always had this conversation, with that guy. And I
That
just
guy,
say,
the guy that we're always talking
the
about?
guy, like, hey, so are you into metal? Oh yeah, man, I'm really into like Def Leppard, especially like Hysteria and Pyromania. Oh, okay. Do you like other metal songs? Oh yeah, man, AC/DC, especially you shook me all night long. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a cool one.
You just
What
like
do
the
you think of-
singles.
What do you think of High and Dry? Who did that?
Right, exactly.
Oh no, I don't know this, but I'm really into like a Motley Crue, like Smoking the Boys, from,
Right, the cover.
home,
Yeah.
home Sweet Home. Oh yeah, so I'm like a total metal fan, man.
Oh, God.
And that guy had that voice.
Yeah,
Always,
really? Wow.
So that's kind of how I obviously I got Pyromania was my introduction to Def Leppard.
I think it was for all
I'll
of
admit
us.
that. Yeah,
I think it was for all
I
of us.
really got into that.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
but-
it's got some weak spots, but it's a good album.
Yeah.
Then I started meeting other guys who had other heavy metal interests, and I started getting into those bands. And at that point, I'm like, I don't need this Pyromania anymore.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, try High and Dry, try On Through the Night. I'm
Right.
like, okay, that is legit.
Right.
So for me, it was an entry point, and then I had to discard it.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, I think that's as far as they went with metal.
Right.
That's kind of why I sort of disparaged those albums in that kind of way.
I get
don't
you.
know. Yeah.
Well, I got into Def Leppard, Pyromania because of my brother.
Sure.
He
Okay.
traded our girls' school tape for Pyromania. And I was like, dude, you traded girls' school? Really? We never listened to it, but I was like, come on, we only got so many cassettes here. So he traded it for Pyromania. We listened to it, and I really liked it. So then I was talking to a friend of mine in high school, first year high school, I think it was. And he said, well, if you like that, check out High and Dry.
Okay.
And then from there, I was like, okay, High and Dry is way better.
Yeah.
Way, way better. So then Hysteria comes out. Once again, you run out and buy it. And I was like, I don't want this shit, and gave it to my brother.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed. But for me, this is their best record. And it's funny that it's their second record. You would
Yeah.
think that maybe... So a lot of metal bands, they have their first record, which everybody loves. Second record is okay.
You kind
Usually
of
third record, they really
like
come into
second
their
when
sound.
you kind of start feeling them.
Right.
Were you
Yeah,
gonna say
on,
that?
on Through the Night, I think they were kind of finding their footing. It's not a bad album, but I think it's relatively weak, especially compared to High and Dry.
Right.
So I think they really found their footing with this album, with the second album.
Well, I think they were also like 12 when they recorded that,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Or something. They were really young.
Yeah, they were immature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is High and Dry, parenthetically, Saturday Night.
How many bands did songs about Saturday night? That's a
Like-
whole separate podcast.
Yeah, like all of them.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're a rock and roller, why do you have to wait until Saturday night? You can party on a Monday.
Monday night, exactly.
come on.
Monday
I mean,
afternoon.
That's how you show that you're a legit rocker. Yeah.
You haven't stopped partying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, write a song about Saturday night into Monday, and the repercussions of.
It's because it serves as an anthem for, like, partying teenagers. So on Saturday night, they can, like, crank this up.
Right,
In their,
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
cars out in the parking lot, in their Camaros or whatever.
Camaros.
Camaros,
Nice,
yeah. I
nice.
mean, that was the era, right?
IROC Z28. That was Queens. But, yeah, it's always the same thing, bands like this, at the time, had to have some sort of anthem, is the other thing, especially in the
Exactly.
80s.
Yeah.
There was always, Kiss kind of set the bar with, Detroit Rock City and,
Yeah.
you know,
Rock and roll all night.
Rock and Roll All Night,
Yeah.
right. Shout it out loud.
Yeah.
So every band wanted to have, especially if they were looking to be a crossover rock metal act, they had to have some sort of anthem.
Yeah.
And I think Leppard hit it with this. in the beginning. I mean, later on it became, which is weird, pour some sugar on me. I don't fucking get that shit. That's, okay, another sexual reference, yeah, but...
Yeah.
I'm
but
not,
how is that yeah.
I don't want nobody pouring sugar on me. That's not going to turn me on. I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? That shit is disgusting.
Now I'm sticky.
Right.
Shower.
And he says in the lyrics, right? So actually, their sexual lyrics got grosser and grosser as they went on. But it is great, and this is very of the time, but I still think it holds up.
Okay.
Sound-wise, anthem-wise. This kind of brings me right back to, when I was a kid in the 80s.
Okay.
For me.
You're old, dude.
I know, right?
Reminds me a bit of AC/DC.
Okay.
I see
no,
that,
No,
yeah.
why?
In style and certainly lyrically.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Party, women, drinking.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's AC/DC.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I found this old Rolling Stone interview with Joe Elliott online, where he's kind of reflecting back on his whole career with Def Leppard. So apparently, this was a song where Mutt Lange really pushed him to come out and act like a frontman.
Oh yeah.
Because he didn't really have that persona, Joe Elliott.
Right.
And Mutt Lange's like, no, you got to be the guy out front. You got to have that hard drinking kind of thing going on, that posturing. So this is where he kind of came into his own
On this
as that.
recording this song, right?
Yeah, which is interesting because you think like a lot of these guys just seem to be like born that way,
Right.
like David Lee Roth or those guys. And
Right.
Joe Elliott didn't think of himself as one of those guys, but he became it through the course of working through this album with Mutt Lange, which is interesting.
Well, I heard Mutt Lange was a son of a bitch with them. He really was a taskmaster with them. He really pushed them
Yeah,
to
got
get
the
what
job
he
done.
wanted.
yeah, he absolutely did. Yeah,
It wasn't so much what the band wanted; it's what he wanted.
yeah, because he felt that he knew
That
what
they
was
could
right
do it.
for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they could. And I guess at the end, like you're saying, Dave, he got it, and he got them to do it, and they became
Yeah.
they
And
they
started
became
on the
mega
right
stars.
path.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were hungry enough, they were willing to be abused
Yeah.
and pushed to that limit, so they can come out of that shell, like you're saying,
Yeah.
Max, especially with Joe, and then become huge stadium rock stars.
Yeah. They had a headache at the time, but they benefited from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
how it works sometimes.
Right. I mean, you would kill to work with a producer of that caliber. But when you're a young, snotty kid, I could see you being like, oh, fuck you, man. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, once again, he saw that they were malleable enough that he could mold them. They were kind of
eager.
clay. Yeah, they were kind of clay, ready to be rock stars. They had
Yeah.
that little bit
Yeah.
that he saw, and then he said, I could make something out of this. With AC/DC, he couldn't do that so much. AC/DC was
Because
already
they were
AC/DC.
already, yeah.
They were already big. They didn't really need him.
Can you think of someone else whom Mutt Lange kind of molded and kind of, found them when they were raw and young?
No, I can't, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
we have to look into this.
Yeah.
I
can't, to be honest.
I ask questions that we don't know the answers to.
You should have done your research.
I know, totally.
So should have. So I should have too. I'm going to blame it on you. All right?
Listeners, if you know the answer to these questions,
Yeah,
just
please,
tweet at us. Yeah.
please tell us.
Yeah,
please,
let us know.
comments, tweets, whatever.
Yeah.
Let us know
Yeah.
about Mutt Lange, or just hey Mutt, if you're listening,
Yeah.
let us know personally. Tell us, school us.
All right, ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, this is Bringin On The Heartbreak. Yep, there we go. That wistful guitar line just comes out. Yep.
Steve Clark.
I'm just going to say that I am not a power ballad fan, but I think this is a really, really good power ballad.
It's true. Yeah,
I think it
I'm
works.
not a big fan of the power ballad, but
It's a great complex arrangement.
I think they did it before it was coined power ballad.
You might be right about that, yeah. Yeah.
Because it was Poison and Bon Jovi
Yeah.
and Motley Crue.
Well, can we think of an earlier one than this one? Like a true power ballad? Not really. I mean,
No.
Zeppelin, of course, they were doing ballads, but nothing quite like this.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
What about Children of the Damned?
I wouldn't consider that
No?
a power ballad.
'Cause
No.
It's got a slow, kind of trotting start to it. No?
I don't know.
You mean Children of the Grave or...
No, Maiden.
Oh, maybe Children of the... No, right. Duh. Okay, right. Children of the... Not really.
Yeah.
See, this is more melodically poised, where Children of the Damned is not. That's more of a slower metal song. That's a dirge for me.
Okay.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
what do you think, Max?
I'm kind of going to have to go with that.
Yep,
Yeah,
fair
something.
enough.
This is more. I mean, well, it's romantic for
Right,
one thing.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's wistful.
Listen to
it's
that.
yeah.
Come on. You're not seeing Maiden do that shit.
No.
You know?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
swooping vocal in the chorus.
Yeah,
You know?
it's lushly orchestrated, arranged.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, I think, has most interesting lyrics on the album.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah.
There's only maybe 2 that have interesting lyrics on it,
Yeah.
this being one.
Yeah.
You know, which we'll get into
I
later.
think it's
But
a really, and I'll take this version over the later kind of synthesizer,
yeah.
right? The remix thing,
Yeah.
that's
Somebody covered it in a few years back, some pop star.
yeah,
I can't remember who.
huh?
But when I heard it, I said, oh, it might have been Mariah Carey.
Oh wow,
It might have been
That's
somebody
okay.
Funny.
big like Mariah Carey.
Huh.
And I was like, whoa, no, whoa. You just fucked it all up for me.
yeah,
You know? You're taking all the things
Wait,
that are
did-
good about the song
Okay.
and just making it your own, just stomping all over it and just taking the lyrics. I heard it in the Key Food or something like that shop, a grocery shop, and I was like, wait a minute, what is that? And the girl behind the register told me, and I said, what? No. I grabbed my groceries and ran out of the store. It's like, no.
There's a YouTube clip of Walt doing this, grabbing his groceries, and running out of the store.
Like a little girl. You know, no. But this is a bigger hit for them later on.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's the most important song on the album.
Really?
Not just because it was a breakthrough, and not just because it's brilliant, but because it takes a moment to actually slow the pace of the album and still crush it.
Right.
it's true. Yeah,
Right. Right. And once again, it's kind of out of left field after the tracks that we've heard already.
yeah,
So it's establishing that you don't know where the record's really going to go. Mm-hmm. And also establishing that the band can do different things besides what we've heard already, track-wise. So that's always impressive. And 9 times out of 10, if you can't pull that off as a band, don't bother.
Yeah.
But they pulled it off, once again, with the assist of Mutt. Mm-hmm. I think it really works. It's a great, one of the better power ballads out there, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll take it
I
over
mean,
a
you
lot
look
of
at
them.
Top 20 for me.
I mean, you look at guys that were doing it at the time, like Motley Crue, not so much. For me, you know, like
Yeah.
Home Sweet Home or Whitesnake
God,
doing
yeah.
power ballads.
Yeah.
You know, no.
Well, Dave, give me some other ones that you like. Now you're on the spot.
Yeah.
On the spot!
I don't know, like, I mean, Here I Go Again is a silly song, but I like it as a kitschy
Okay.
nostalgia kind of thing.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So, but that's for a lot of power ballads. This one's a legitimately good one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So this is like at the top.
I think for the reasons that Max said, it's more lush. It's not as deliberate
Yeah.
as, say, Here I Go Again or Home Sweet Home or the
Not
Bon
as
Jovi
cheesy.
ones. Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it was crafted to just be a power ballad to say like, okay, we got to have this song on the radio so chicks will listen to us.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it felt it seems heartfelt, like it's coming from some genuine kind of bluesy sort of place of loss. Is
Okay.
what I'm hearing.
I mean,
Like,
title
yeah.
alone, yeah.
Yeah, but just his delivery, everything about it just feels real, whereas a lot of those just feel manufactured to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Artificial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
And once again, I think this is before the term was coined.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're the grandfathers.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. I don't know if you'd want to be the grandfathers of the power ballad, but all right. You know,
I mean,
maybe
okay,
they
stuck with
might
it.
be fine with that.
Scorpions, they did a few of those.
But that was later.
It was
the
later.
change.
Yeah, it was later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Down to
Good
go
listening.
Paul. The winds of change, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Whistling on the winds of change?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Solid whistling.
Whistling on the wind. I remember when that came out, I was like, what happened? Not the Scorps, too. Because every big band was putting out some sort of weird power ballad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know? So, it's insane.
Yeah. All right. Move on. This is Switch 625. This one follows right off of Bringin On The Heartbreak, right?
Yeah.
Because, there's like a
There's
little
no
musical
pause.
thing. Yeah, there's no pause between them. In this Rolling Stone article, Joe Elliott recounts that he actually won this battle, apparently.
Oh, yeah?
Because Mutt Lange wanted him to put lyrics and vocals on this song.
Okay.
But Joe was like, no, this should be like a coda to the previous song. He wanted it to be like the outro to like Layla or Freebird or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes
That's
sense.
interesting.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and-
cool.
Yeah,
And I thought it was gutsy to do that.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
And
So
I think
that's-
it totally works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that complex,
Right.
you know, I think it works as a nice kind of just, like a coda to that previous song.
Well, he still has, some vocals in the background going, or whatever,
there's
you know.
that. Yeah.
That's fine. I think it's a nice break.
Yeah.
And a chance that they took that they never took again.
True, yeah.
To be honest with you, that they never took again with a pseudo instrumental. Like Black Sabbath would do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the early days, they had all these, and I think they did it on Mob Rules too with Dio. They did one song, same thing that had a weird. I think it was E5051 on Mob Rules, where it's an instrumental kind of segue between songs. I always dig those.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I think
totally.
this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And let the band shine for a minute.
Yeah, why not?
You know, let
Yeah.
the band go at it. What lyrics could he possibly put to this that would have done it any
Yeah, who knows?
justice or made it any different?
Yeah.
Something about sex.
Right, exactly. Well, he's doing he's moaning in the background, so you know, who knows? You know?
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
It is
it's
nice,
cool, right?
it is a nice
Yeah,
break
yeah.
in the album.
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah.
And I feel like putting something like this after a song gives that previous song more like an epic feel. It's like that song was so draining that we need some time to just like chill down.
Right,
off it,
right,
you know?
right.
Like Layla again. It just it imparts that sort of quality to it, a bigness.
Right, right.
Yeah. Which I think is cool. I like that.
It's also creative license. I mean, for the band, if you want to do something like this,
Yeah.
you know, and if your fans dig you and they dig it, why not?
Yeah.
Take a chance, you know.
Yeah.
There we go with the ahs.
And Joe has such a solid voice that it is good
Yeah.
to give the band a spotlight for a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're not just the voice.
Well, I could also see this in a soundtrack,
Oh yeah.
and that could have been a goal too.
Uh-huh.
Who knows? You know,
Sure.
it could possibly be used in some soundtrack somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. So Mutt
So-
Lange did not get his way all the time, and I think we're better for it.
Which is amazing to hear,
Right.
Because from what I know, he always got his way.
I wonder if he's glad in hindsight. Maybe you said, "Hey, that worked out."
I mean, this is Joe Elliott's side of the story, so you never know.
Yeah.
But that's how he remembers it. This is You Got Me Runnin'.
Running, no G.
Yep.
Rock and roll.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, it's another good song. They keep the momentum going.
Feels more stripped down to me than the other songs.
Well, especially in the opening, yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically hi-hat and guitar going on here.
It all sounds like more of a 70s style rock too,
Oh, yeah.
to me, right?
Yeah, yeah. What do you think this song's about, Dave?
Sex.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
Yeah? When I was looking at the lyrics, I kind of thought this is another song that might possibly have another meaning. About, you know, drug abuse or
Okay.
alcohol abuse. Because he's talking to, it seems like he's talking to a friend. You know, when you listen to the lyrics, that he can't hang out with this person anymore, or this woman, or what have you, because of their addictions.
Huh.
I
Okay.
got,
Drug
as loosely.
abuse comes later with Mirror, Mirror, though.
That's on there too, yes. That's the other one I was going to mention. Yeah, we'll get into that one later too, yeah.
Okay.
The other songs are about, you know, like you were saying, Dave, drinking, drugs, women, you know, etc., or partying. But
I love this chorus.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's very 70s for me. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like
could
a
definitely
Cheap
see it.
Trick song. And I love
Yeah.
Cheap Trick, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even maybe the Runaways a little bit.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little bit with the
yeah.
Runaways.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you, Walt. Where
No.
are we going with that?
I forgot what the fuck I was saying.
Who cares? Okay. We're good.
It's fucked up when I say I don't even care and I don't remember. So, but yeah, no, I think it's a solid track.
I like this one a lot, actually. Yeah.
I feel like the progression on the album, though, I mean, you get the first two heavy hitters, and then it kind of moves into this different style almost for the band.
Okay.
You know, this is even a little bit more melodic. You get
Yeah,
Bringin On The
it
Heartbreak,
is,
very power ballad, quote unquote. There's some melody in this, especially
Yeah.
like you're saying in the chorus.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
he's hitting you at the verse, but then when you get into the chorus, you get this, oh no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you know, which is great.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if that was the band's idea, or if Mutt Lange said, look, guys, come on, sing together.
Yeah,
Let's all...
that,
you know.
who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
So once again...
Mutt Lange was not going to give up one more. He already gave up one, right?
Yeah.
Right,
I
get
figured
back
this was
in
him.
there and get to it. Whip crack. Get in there, record, boys.
All right, ready to move on?
Got me running.
Next up, Lady Strange. Okay. Classic riff. Starting it all up, right?
Yep.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think lyrically this is one of the more interesting songs in the album.
Why do you think so?
It's kind of mysterious, and who is Lady Strange?
Okay.
Right? They
Yeah.
don't just tell you, right?
Right.
They figure
No.
it out.
It's like a comic book character. Yeah, she's a
Doctor
super
Strange
villain.
is,
Super villain. She's a succubus.
it's like a what?
There's a joke in there somewhere, right?
What do you think, Walt?
But if you listen to this, there are hints of what Def Leppard became later. Like, listen to that guitar sound.
Okay.
The chord progressions, the changes.
So what are you hearing in that?
I'm hearing a little bit more hysteria, kind of,
All right. Okay.
from this song. And his vocals seem just a touch higher to me,
Huh. Okay.
if you listen.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
He's kind of
All right, I
really
hear
up
that.
there on this.
Yeah. All
You
right.
know.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a little bit lower on previous songs on this record. This, he's up there. That who can copy that shit, you know? And the greatest thing about it is that when it came to them producing this, they didn't use trickery with his voice. They did a little bit here and there with effects, but not trickery to get him to sound that high.
Okay.
So once again, he was young and he could deliver that kind of sound. He had Mutt Lange and behind him poking him with a fork or a pitchfork or something. Like, sing higher, you know? You gotta sing higher. But he delivers, and I think it's another wild track on this album because you're not expecting this after the track previous. Me and friends of mine have messed around with trying to cover this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's not as easy as it seems. It's not an easy song. So especially trying to sing this. It's
Okay.
It's it's up there.
Huh.
Yeah. You'll blow your asshole out. Trying to hit these notes. Your balls will shrink up.
We will take your word for that.
They're back. They're okay now.
Good to know. Time to move on, perhaps?
Why, you don't want to talk about my
Wait,
balls?
you didn't get your say.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm good. This is On Through the Night, which was the title of the previous album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this song didn't make it on that record.
I was going to ask that if it's a holdover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
It would seem to me. Or maybe it wasn't finished enough for them to put it on Through the Night. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Houses of the Holy thing.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because Houses of the Holy was on Physical Graffiti.
Right. Uh-huh.
And not on,
Not on the
Houses
Right,
of the
right,
Holy
right.
record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
This is probably better than anything on Through the Night. I think.
Okay.
I'll agree with that,
Huh.
yeah. I
So
will.
had they had it on there, it would have been a better album.
Or maybe it just wasn't up to, like I said, up to par. Maybe it wasn't finished. Or maybe
Yeah.
they didn't want to put it on because maybe it was a live song.
Uh-huh.
You know, so many questions.
Maybe they didn't even come up with the whole idea until
be.
they actually, tour for that album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be just one
There
of
you
those
go.
things.
Yeah.
Well, this song is definitely about touring.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely about touring.
Yeah.
Oh, you just sit on the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The music biz, touring, getting
Exactly, yeah.
especially back then, when they were young and hungry, getting in a bus, no jet planes, no
Yeah.
Lear jets getting to where you're going to play.
Yep.
Your asses were on the bus for fucking days and days and months, and if you were lucky, year or two,
Yeah.
and then you still didn't make any money.
Yeah.
But, that's neither here nor there. They'd have to tell us that. But, well, eventually they made millions, so.
Sure.
But what are your thoughts on this track, Max?
I find the chorus a bit basic.
It is basic.
It's not my favorite
It's
track.
Rock
of the
101.
album. Yeah, that's the thing about it. It doesn't really grab me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave?
I like it, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to the other songs in the album, it's just
That's kind of
not
my
quite that
feeling.
level.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I like the sort of galloping guitar rhythm at the opening. Kind of reminds me a lot of what Iron Maiden did very well. But then it just doesn't go anywhere for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Maiden was also lumped in with the whole new wave of British
Exactly.
heavy metal.
Yeah.
They were already out there, like Motorhead.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't have a producer to make them big, like Def Leppard did.
Yeah.
Motorhead and Iron Maiden, they just toured and toured and toured and toured.
Yeah.
That's how they became big.
Yeah.
All over the fucking world. I wonder if Def Leppard didn't run into Mutt Lange or get Mutt Lange involved, if they would have been as big.
It's a really good question.
As they became, to be honest with you.
I don't
and
see
it's not
it.
a diss to Def
Yeah, no,
Leppard at all.
I really don't see it happening. But,
Right.
it's just, who knows? It's a
Yeah.
counterfactual.
Right.
Is that a good word?
Is it?
I don't know.
counterfactual.
Counterfactual?
Sure.
Is that a real word?
Why not?
If not, fuck it. You made it up. You made it up.
All right, next up.
Like a lot of the shit that we do on this
We
podcast.
make it up. We just make it up. Next up, Mirror, Mirror, parenthetically, look into my eyes. Dave, what do you think?
Love it.
Yeah?
Love this song.
Tell me
Yeah,
why.
it's one of my
Talk about
favorites
it.
too.
Just dangerous,
Yeah.
right? It's about blow, right?
That's what I got from it.
Yeah, you would think so, right? Yeah.
And also, I felt a little narcissistic with the lyrics too, because he's talking to himself in the mirror.
Okay, no, I think the mirror serves two purposes. One, you're
When
looking
you're-
into it to see what a fucking mess you are on coke.
Right.
And the other is sniffing lines off of it.
Of course,
It's
right.
perfect.
Right. But then there are points where he's almost complimenting himself with the lyrics, as opposed to saying, oh man, I'm fucked up. There are certain lines in there, and I can't remember exactly what they are at this point, but I do
Yeah,
get the
I like
coke
this part.
abuse
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
this, of course, But no, this is one of my favorites on the record.
Yeah.
It makes me stumble, makes me blind,
Yeah.
time after time, and line by line. Line by
Right.
line.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
that's pretty,
That's it.
yeah.
But then
yeah.
he says something else like, you're looking sharp, you're looking mean, you're looking, There are a couple of
well-
lines in there like that.
Yeah, there is that duality to it.
Right.
It,
Right.
it brings your confidence up.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Maybe that's when you're feeling good. When
Exactly.
You're on the high.
That's the thing.
Tweaking.
Yeah.
Tweaking.
Yeah.
I look good, man. I'm on coke. Yay.
There's a production on the drums here that makes them sound kind of like bouncy or something. You hear that?
Right.
Like this one stands out for me for the drums. Contrast to kind of a raw guitar figure.
Let me listen for a second.
Yeah.
Because I know they didn't use electronic kits on this at all. This was
No,
real.
but it's been produced somehow,
Yeah.
processed.
It sounds to me, just off the cuff, it sounds like there's a tight echo on it.
Okay.
Where you get that nice tight slap back, where you do hear the skin,
Yeah.
and you hear the stick bouncing off it.
Okay.
But it doesn't ring out.
That might be it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does it sound like that to you? I mean, when you really listen to it.
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
Not
yeah.
compressed, but it's got a tight echo on it, so you get a little slap back,
Okay. Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a great track.
How much do you have to pay for a slapback?
You're asking me?
I don't know. Okay.
I know a guy. I can call him. I can call him right now.
I was hoping for a woman.
No, well, you got to go through the guy first.
Okay, all right, yeah, I got you. All right, next up, our final track is No, No, No. What do you think, Dave?
That's a fun song.
Yeah.
Can I say it's rollicking?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's a rollicking song.
It's
You can
got
say
kind of
whatever
like
you
this boogie woogie rhythm going.
Yeah.
See, this reminds me of AC/DC.
Okay,
This song
yeah.
especially.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean, when you really
I
listen
hear
to
that.
it,
Yeah.
It's like
Got it.
boogie woogie.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rollicking, bluesy kind of
Yeah.
ish bass.
Yeah. It's a good closer.
Yeah. Also, it reminds me a little bit of Guns N' Roses from
Huh.
Appetite,
Interesting.
a little bit.
Okay.
I bring that up because Guns N' Roses, they were just as hungry as Def Leppard when they came out with their first album.
Yeah.
The way these guys were with these records, with this record and the one before,
Yeah.
and Pyromania.
Yeah.
But it reminds me a little bit of that.
All right. Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, any more thoughts?
No,
Solid.
fun.
No.
All right, so let's get some closing thoughts on this album. What do you think, Dave? Overall.
Overall, excellent.
Yeah.
Definitely their best album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hands
would,
down.
I would agree with that. Yeah. As someone who is not typically a Def Leppard fan because of the reasons that I discussed, this is still an album that I really, really dig.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Def Leppard fan, but this is my favorite. And I don't know if that's making a concession or... I think there are certain bands where you can like one or two of their albums and that's it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And there are so many other people that, are completists when it comes to certain bands that are diehard fans. Mm-hmm. And I've had arguments with... Not arguments, but arguments. with
Let's be real.
diehard fans where they're like, what, you don't like Hysteria and you don't like the one after or whatever the fuck? No. No, I do not. I think they got worse as they went along. Just production-wise, they stopped being a rock act after Pyromania for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I would
For me, it ended with High and Dry and Pyromania, and that was it.
And I still find Hysteria fun, but beyond that, just terrible. Once
Yeah.
you make songs called Make Love Like a Man, you've hit rock bottom.
Right.
You're at rock bottom, that's it. That's,
That's
your
a
low point.
real... Okay.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's after, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, yeah.
Get Rocked was another
Oh,
single.
Let's Get Rocked. Yeah.
Let's Get Rocked.
Terrible.
Oh, man. And then the one-word titles on Hysteria, like Woman, Animal, Rocket. It's like, guys,
Yeah.
no thought here. Yeah. No thought. They just seem so, like I said, they just weren't a rock band for me anymore.
Yeah.
This
I
here,
just-
they're a fucking
this
rock
is,
band.
This is a legitimate
That's
rock
true rock.
band.
They're a rock
yeah,
band.
absolutely. Yeah.
Not necessarily metal. I wouldn't
No.
categorize
no,
it.
hard rock.
rock.
But
Yeah.
they walk the line a little.
Yeah.
A little.
It's edgy.
Yeah.
It's certainly edgy enough.
It's like you listen to this, like if you go back in time, you hear this, you feel like the next album could have gone a different way. It could have been like a real metal album.
Right.
But they just didn't go in that direction.
Right.
And, whatever.
I'm grateful for Pyromania. I like that album.
Yeah, okay.
I still like it too.
Yeah.
If I had to pick between the two, like Desert Island Disc, if I had to pick one Def Leppard, it would be
Easy.
High and Dry.
Yeah.
Easy. A little no trivia for you. So on vinyl, no plays infinitely at the end.
With that weird
the album.
no kind of
No,
thing
no,
going
no.
on?
Right,
Okay.
right. It just keeps
That
going.
just
It does
keeps
not
going?
stop until you lift the needle.
Yeah, all right. Huh.
On cassette, the other side is longer, so no plays out to the very end of the tape. I think about
Like how long?
40 something times.
Wow.
I think
Wow.
it is.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's,
Yeah.
That's a while.
40-something times, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And then digital sucks, so it just fades out.
Right.
So.
That's something. Yeah. I remember having it on cassette, but never waiting that long. Never waiting that long. When song's over, it's like, stop. Pop it out.
No, I had the cassette, I waited.
Yeah. That's commitment.
Yeah.
So you are a Def Leppard fan. Don't hang it. I'm like, the song's over. Click. Let's put something else on. Did you ever have auto reverse technology
Oh, yeah. It hits
back
the
in the
end
day?
and it
Yeah.
flips
That
over
shit
to the side.
always confused
Yes,
me.
yes.
Like I never knew which side I was on.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah. I kind of hated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it as a concept, but I couldn't figure it out.
But back in the day, that was the wave of the future.
Oh, yeah.
You don't got to
Yeah.
turn the cassette over.
Right.
Especially if you were driving around, But there was always that moment where we go click, click.
Okay, I'm going farther back in technology.
Uh-oh.
Okay, remember 2 album sets?
Oh, yes.
And so remember that thing you could put 2 of the records. So okay, so side
one would drop.
So one record had side 1 and side 3.
Right.
The other one had side 2 and side 4.
Right.
So you'd cue up side 1, and this contraption on top. So when side 1 stopped playing, automatically side 2 would drop on there. Remember that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that little apparatus that
Yes,
you
this-
put.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is ancient. You can't even find this in a museum anymore. You remember this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why they did that. That's why they were numbered that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that you can play them in the proper order if you line them
Exactly.
up on your record player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would always have that moment once again where it would click and then drop.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
record would drop down.
Yeah.
And then the needle would go over.
Yeah.
So now it's so instant gratification when it comes to listening to things that you don't have the patience for anything
No,
like that.
like why? Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when CDs first came out too, there's a couple of albums that I have. One in particular that's Motorhead, Orgasmatron.
Yeah.
Where it was recorded from the original albums, I think, or the original tapes, where between side 1 and side 2, there is a 10 to 15 second pause
Yeah.
from the last song on side 1 to the first song on side 2. Mm-hmm. And it's weird now because that doesn't happen.
Was that early CD pressing?
Yeah,
or
early
something?
CD
Okay.
pressings,
All right.
yeah. Where there's that pause.
Yeah.
Like an intermission.
Huh, wow.
To this day, I'm like, what the fuck? What happened to? Oh, right, because I still have the, So, but so it's funny how technology has changed the
Oh
game.
my God, it changes things, doesn't it?
Not for the better.
Technology,
Right.
wow.
Well, speaking of technology, I mean, Def Leppard started using a lot of technology in the studio when they were recording these records. I think specifically on Pyromania and Hysteria later on. A little bit on High and Dry.
And Mutt
A
Lang
little
really
bit.
pushed for latest technology, right?
Yeah,
He was,
yeah. And I think it worked when it came to Def Leppard, especially live. Once Rick Allen lost his arm with the electronic drum kit, that really worked out when it came to the technology.
Right.
Because everybody in metal and rock frowned on electronic drum
Yep.
kit. Yeah, that was more for new wave acts or
Yeah.
pop acts. Like Sheila E. used to. She would do both. She would do both, though. I'm not dissing Sheila.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
a fantastic
Yeah,
drummer.
she's amazing. Yeah.
But she would use electronic kits on stage
Yeah.
and the whole thing. So it worked out for them technology-wise, and I think they embraced a lot of it.
Yeah.
It even kind of took over when it came to the look of their album covers, despite High and Dry.
Okay.
When you look at Pyromania, it's almost like this anime look to it, with the explosion out of the building
Yeah.
and the whole thing, and the
Yeah,
gun
yeah.
sight.
Yeah.
Right.
And later with Hysteria, with the weird triangle and the screaming faces
face,
and all
yeah.
these colors and what the fuck is going on, some Tron nightmare. But High and Dry, actually, the cover is
So
iconic.
we got to talk about the cover. So what do you guys think?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your
Yes.
review.
Tell me,
Yeah.
Dave, what's your thought?
No, it's what is it? It's a svelte guy in red speedos, midair and diving into a pool.
into
Yeah.
an empty
And
pool.
It's that empty though.
Yeah, it's an empty pool. Look at the ladder over there.
Yeah.
It's an empty
You
pool.
can see go all the
Oh,
way
it
down.
looks like-
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was
mean,
going to say it would
looks
be better if it were empty.
It looks blue and shimmering,
empty.
but it is empty.
It is empty. It's
Yeah.
an empty pool he's diving
Oh.
into.
Yeah.
Now the other thing,
Did that just blow your mind?
You know,
Dave?
well, no. Then the problem is it looks like it's full. It should look like it's empty. It should look it's
that's,
blue.
That's what they do with pools. They paint them
Yeah.
either blue or green on the bottom, so it looks like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
You don't go swimming. The odd thing is the faces
border.
looking up.
See,
The
yeah,
border, yeah.
that's. I mean, okay. So the image itself, it kind of reminds me of like a David Hockney painting, if
Okay.
I'm remembering the right artist.
Right.
It's got that kind of look of that era. I can go with it, but I feel like the faces around it, they kind of. It ends up being too busy. It screws up the composition for me.
I get you. I get
You
what
know?
you mean. Yeah, I would just prefer the image.
Yeah, I
but
would
there is
just-
something
yeah.
to be said about the border. It's weird.
What is to be said?
It's very
about
odd. Well, look at the faces.
Yeah.
They're actually repeated. They're the
Right.
same heads,
Okay.
just with
Yeah.
different facial hair or
That is
lack
kinda-
of facial hair.
it? Okay, yeah, that's
You know?
kind of yeah.
It's also an artist that has created a lot of iconic album covers.
Yeah.
Storm Thorgerson and his company Hypnosis.
Oh, Hypnosis, they're
Yeah,
a legend.
yeah.
All those Pink Floyd albums.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Adam Hart Mother.
Yeah.
Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, Peter Gabriel, solo debut records, the two covers. Because they had the first one with the melting face.
Yeah.
They recalled it, then it's got the scratches.
Yeah.
They did the both of those. AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Cheap. Black Sabbath, Technical Ecstasy, the cover that we hate the most
exactly.
when it comes to Black Sabbath. And Led Zeppelin's Houses at Holy, to name a
Yeah,
few.
yeah, yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah,
So-
legendary. Yeah.
I guess, especially with Def Leppard, where they chose the spelling of the name, they wanted to kind of be like Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. Yeah.
That they got this guy to do a cover for them, an album cover. Once again, Def Leppard, DEF. They figured it would work because it worked for Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they were originally going to do DEAF.
Yeah.
And I've
And
seen
Leopard, I think Leopard, like the animal, LEO. They were originally going to do that, right? And they changed.
I've
to
seen the
current
early
spelling.
logos when they were kids. Yeah, it was spelled correctly. But they figured, let's do what Led Zeppelin did because that was
Because of
iconic.
Led Zeppelin, yeah.
So they figured it would work for them. I guess it did.
Yeah.
Right?
What is a Def Leppard?
A leopard that can't hear.
Right?
I mean,
Right.
That would be
yeah,
that would be DEAF. So
But see, deaf became a whole slang later on.
Exactly.
So now it's like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
Def Leppard. Def. Like, you're cool. You're cool leopard. I don't know. I'm reaching there.
Yeah. I
But-
don't. Yeah. It's a mixed bag for me on this cover.
I think it's, when you look at the album covers across their discography,
Yeah.
it's probably the best one, to be honest.
Oh,
No,
It's-
I think
know.
you're right about that. Yeah.
Well,
On
it's
Through
not
the
the-
Night
that's
has-
the truck, right?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
with, the
it's-
guitar, with the giant guitar.
That's kind of hokey.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Pyromania is like this weird anime kind of drawing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with
Hysteria is-
Hysteria? And then the other one after had that weird, remember the glowing eye things and magician shops where you put your finger on the
Yeah.
electricity? It was like that. It was
Yeah.
one of those orbs with the electricity and
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it was. They got worse and worse. So
Absolutely.
I'm honestly thinking that the band never gave a fuck about their album covers.
Probably not.
Besides
Yeah.
maybe this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of all of them,
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It is now time for Gun to the Head. That's right. Okay. So, Dave, you know how this works.
Yeah.
What is your top song on this album, Gun to the Head?
All right. Well, Bringin On The Heartbreak is fantastic. I love the song, but I got to go with Mirror Mirror.
Okay. All
It's
right.
just a killer song.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
you know what? I got to agree with Dave.
Okay.
I really like Mirror Mirror.
Yeah.
Maybe a second to me would be Let It Go.
Okay. All right.
It's dark. It's evil.
Yep.
It's deadly.
Yep.
It's sleazy even at points.
Right.
So I'll go with Mirror Mirror.
You gentlemen almost convinced me, but mine is You Got Me Running.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Well,
Respect.
Well, still similar in theme a little bit, like we were talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to do with drug addiction or alcohol abuse at one
Yep.
point or another.
Yeah.
It's funny how none of us went for any of the sex songs on
No.
the album.
No.
You know what I mean? We went for the more
easy.
the stuff that right,
Yeah.
the stuff that was a little deeper.
Yeah.
So that says something about
Because
us.
we're deep, man.
Right, we're deep. And we're just saying that
shit
because we
going
want to pick
on.
up chicks.
All right, Dave. Gun to the Head the other way.
Gun to the Head.
You had to drop one.
Least favorite. I'll go On Through the Night.
Okay,
Still
tell
a
me
good
why.
tune. Still a
Yeah.
good tune, and still probably better than stuff on the original album. But I can see why it would be a holdover. It's just a little weaker.
Okay.
So that's my take.
All right, well,
I agree with Dave once again. It's On Through the Night.
you know, it's my pick as well.
Yeah.
So we got a consensus on this
Yep.
one.
Yeah, it's On Through the
Yeah.
Night can go.
Yeah, okay.
If it had to.
If it had to, yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine listening to the record without it.
Right.
Listening
I
to it
wouldn't-
for
I
so
wouldn't-
many years.
I wouldn't skip the song.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do? Yeah, you
I
really?
wouldn't skip the song. It's good.
Oh, you
Yeah,
wouldn't?
I would
would
skip
not.
the song.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Okay, cool. I think we did a good wrap up on this one. Let's finish this up. Dave, thank you for being with us. Do you think you can join us again?
I would love to.
Okay,
Thank
so, Walt, who's up next for us alphabetically?
Dio.
Dio. Dave, are you in for Dio?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, awesome. Dave's going to come back for Dio.
Which album?
Okay, so what are the seminal albums for Dio?
Holy Diver.
Holy Diver.
Holy
number
Diver,
one.
obviously.
Last in Line.
Line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Okay,
two
so
seminal.
we're not doing those. What are we going to do?
Dream Evil.
Dream Evil.
Dream Evil,
You down
excellent.
for Dream Evil, Dave?
I am.
All right, we're doing this. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us, people. We're going to be back with Dio Dream Evil next time. And I am Max.
I'm Walt.
I'm Dave.
Thank you for joining us. And you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on WordPress under uselessinfoinc.wordpress.com. And now we are on Google Play. Did I tell you about this, Walt?
Oh, yeah.
We're on Google Play now, so you can go to Google Play, just like search for, what's her name again? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I had a couple here. Useless Info Inc. or Anti-Seminal will pop right up. There's a joke in there.
You
That's-
can,
that's-
we'll pop it right up.
Yep, pop right up. Yes. Thanks for joining us. Catch you next time.
Rock and roll.